Swimming, known as FINA, voted to effectively ban transgender women from competing in women's events. FINA members today adopted a policy that only allows swimmers who transition before age 12 to compete in women's events. And the organization also proposed an open competition category. The policy takes effect on Monday. The policy comes after the success of college swimmer Lia Thomas. In March, Thomas made history as the first transgender woman to win an NCAA swimming championship, the 500-yard freestyle. And a FINA spokesperson confirmed that there are currently no transgender women competing in elite levels of swimming.
I don't see anything wrong with this, do you? Now, I have been wanting to talk about this for a long time because, frankly, it makes no sense. Now, understand, I'm a boxing guy. You know, boxing, no matter what I do with this channel going forward in the future, I will always cover boxing on the weekends. That's not going anywhere. That's my bread and butter. I love it. But I try to imagine, right? Let's say for the boxing fans, Canelo Alvarez. Now, understand, boxing fans, you know how ridiculous this is. Canelo Alvarez taking on Clarissa Shields or Savannah Marshall at 154, 160, 168. Imagine what he would do to them. Now, we're talking about boxing. Now, you can say, well, women can do one, but not the other. Now, we have seen in boxing a trans boxer by the name of Pat Manuel. Here, I'll pull it up for you. Take a time out, like the video, subscribe. I'm T Street Controversy with Fight View 360 and also T Street Controversy with T Street Uncut. I've been saying for years that I was going to do different content. And now that I got so much time on my hands that it took me years and years to free up, I said, you know what? Take a shot at it. Why not? All the links to my social media are right down below in the description box. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe, and here we go.
With this incredible public yet so personal journey.
I just need to say to everyone who's been along for this journey over the past, oh wow, I mean like 6 years really, I thank you so much. I couldn't be here without you. I really needed that support to help push me to this point. There's a lot of people that are behind my corner, you know, my coaches, my beautiful partner, my family, my friends, my fans. There's so many people that wanted me to be here, and I'm just so glad that I was able to perform for them.
Pat, thank you for being so inspiring. Congrats on your win. I'll kick it back to you guys now.
Naz, thank you very much. Great job there with Pat Manuel after his victory in his pro debut. Let's look at some of the highlights again, guys. And started off, had to be somewhat nervous, but really settled in nicely.
Yeah, he started off a little nervous, throwing a lot of shots, and then the second round, he just got caught with the right hand. He was getting caught with the right hand throughout the whole round.
So, Pat Manuel, for those who don't know, used to be a woman. Used to be a woman. Now, just so happens, I mean, you know, I'm going to use, you know, he won against an opponent who was 0-8. From my understanding, he has not fought since. I'm trying to find an old image before the transition. Now, I'm not saying that in some cases, you know, in a lot of cases, maybe that, you know, women can't, you know, beat men in boxing or in certain sports. But what I have to say is this. I don't want to see a man fighting a woman. I'm talking about, listen, let me say it this way. I don't want to see a trans fighting a full-blown woman or competing in women's sports. I don't want to see an NBA player, you know, that was a bum, you know, so he have some type of, you know, mental breakdown or some type of scheme. I'm not equating homosexuality or transgenders or LGBTQ to mental health, but what I'm saying is it can be exploited. You know, because men and women biologically, they're different. We're different. I don't want to see a boxer that's born a man, genetically a man, and says, you know what? I want to be a lady now. But you know what? Wait a minute. If I go over and start beating the ladies up in women's boxing, then I can be an undisputed champion. No. No. No, no, no. So I'm all for, you know, and what really, you know, confused me about this was how they, you know, said if you haven't transitioned before you're 12. Now, me personally, my personal
before women's events. FINA members today adopted a policy that only allows swimmers who transition before age 12 to compete in women's events.
See, you know, and I am one of those people who believes that, you know, a child like should not be transitioning nothing, you know, until they're an adult where they can make their own decisions. Like if I'm a parent of a child that wants to dress up like a girl, if it's a boy wants to dress up like a girl, or if it's a girl want to dress up like a boy, I'm going to be like, you know what? Let's talk about this. You know, like what makes you want to, you know, but rest assured as a parent, if you're a boy, you're going to wear boy clothes in my house. And if you're a girl, you're going to wear girl clothes. Simple as that. What's so hard about that? So why can't we, or why do I feel like we're in a society these days where if it's like, oh, you know, you're not nurturing that behavior, you know, it's causing them harm and all of that. How do you know? How do we know? What happens when, you know, they get older, right? And they say, you know what? Damn, I wish that my parents didn't let me fully become a girl when I was 12 or when I was 11, because now, you know, I want to be straight. Or I want to, you know, like, I don't want to get myself in trouble, especially with YouTube. And I've been shadow banned, you know, a long time ago. Like, so, you know, last thing I need is to, you know, like piss the YouTube algorithm off even more. But I'm just saying that I'm all for sports keeping the genders, you know, different. And if you want to be a trendsetter, then, you know, let's start a transgender boxing league. You know, I'm not saying it's going to appeal to people. It's going to piss a lot of people off, but fuck it. I'll watch it. You know, I'm not, you know, I watch that shit, you know, when it comes to, and it should be the other way around too. I'm not saying, you know, like, I don't want to see no woman, you know, coming to the NBA. Like she like, you know what? I want to be a dude now. I want to go play with the dudes. Like you know, maybe I'm too old timey, I guess, you know, too old school. But for me, I think it's wrong, especially like with this situation right here where you had, you know, here, let me pull this up for you. Once again, take your time out, like the video, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. And no, I'm not trying to offend. No, I'm not making, you know, jokes or anything like that. I understand how people can get in this soft ass culture these days. You know, the social justice warriors and shit. Y'all gonna leave me alone. Leave me out of that. Let me use my free speech. Here's another take. And we're going to take a look at Mrs. Lia Thomas here, the 6'1" trans swimmer.
National championship as a woman was that this was not really an issue, that it was a nasty diversion, even though Deves had been advocating on this issue for years, and even though transgender US swimmer Lia Thomas, who couldn't crack the top 200 as a male swimmer, had won a US national championship as a woman. Well, now the World Swimming Authority has approved new rules that will ban competitors like Thomas from the women's events at the Olympics and other elite competitions. It's not about demonising Thomas or anyone else. It's about fairness and common sense. They'll look to accommodate transgender athletes in other categories, but if they've transitioned after puberty or after about 12 years of age, they won't be able to compete in women's events. Australian Olympic champion Kate Campbell actually spoke at the meeting in Europe that considered all this, and she stressed the need for inclusion and tolerance, but also the need for fairness.
Women who have fought long and hard to be included as equals in sport can only do so because of the gender category distinction. To remove this distinction would be to the detriment of female athletes everywhere.
Yeah, it's a sensible decision. Let's cross now to Fiji.
And does that not make sense? Does that not make sense? You know, because if you've been walking around a man pretty much your whole life and you're coming in to what these women have worked for their whole lives to get to, you come in with the genetic, you know, just overall, you know, like, how can I say it? I don't want to get myself in trouble. Well, basically, like, listen, it shouldn't happen. I'm just saying it shouldn't happen. You know, that's what I'm saying. Because at the end of the day, who does it really hurt? Because these women overall, they're competing against men. They're competing against men. Let's go look at Lia Thomas before. And she's a big woman, you know? She's got the swimmer shoulders and everything. And it's like, you got a goatee. You had a goatee. Like, bro. Like, you know, I mean, not bro, but, you know. 31 years old. No, excuse me. 23 years old. 6'1". It just doesn't make sense. So, yes, I'm all for trans not competing with women or girls in any way. Imagine, and then it's only a matter of time when it starts trickling down to the children. So, you know, I don't want to put my daughter, you know, in a sport where, you know, she's going to be competing with a like a boy, because as they say, like, you know, the way these rules are, they're trying to say is like, well, you know, if it's before 12, but it's like, wait a minute. So you mean to tell me that a little boy can compete? Like, you know, like, listen. It's going to give me a headache. It's going to give me a headache. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe if you haven't. This is my daily episode of T Street Uncut and what was on my mind. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter @T Street Controversy. Please subscribe.